All right, now we're going to talk about some tips and tricks to get started and some tools that are essential in order to start investing. Firstly, we need a bank account. So, that is a pretty simple process where we basically have to go through a couple steps. So we kind of have to research a bank that suits our needs, that is available in our country. And there's a few options of international banks that we're going to be talking about briefly. Basically, you could go for an international option like ING, there's HSBC, there's Citigroup. These are international banks that are available in many countries for you to open a bank account at. You basically need some ID documents and then open a bank account, which will then allow you to put money onto your bank account, have access to your money online. When you want to choose your bank account, you want to look for low fees and high interest rates if possible, which will allow you to make a little bit of money as you leave your money in your bank. Basically, the bank sometimes pays out interest rates to reward you for leaving bank in the bank account. Once your bank account is approved, you can go to an ATM, take some cash, put some money on there, and then you're ready to go to step 2 is to basically transfer your money to your broker to then use to invest it. To do this, you should find then a broker that allows you to invest into sustainable products, because there's a lot of different brokers out there and they often offer a different range of ETF investing options. And there's a lot of brokers that don't actually offer some sustainable investing options. So it's really important to choose some that actually offer the products that you want to personally invest in. So the next step that you have to do is get a brokerage account. Now, a broker basically allows you to invest into the stock market. These have access to it and you kind of give them the money and tell them what you want to have. And then the broker will basically purchase the ETF investment option for you, and then you often have to pay a little bit of a fee to the broker in order to do so. Available brokers depend on where you live often, but there's some very common international ones that are offered in a wide variety of countries. Often large banks have brokerage services as well. For example, ING or HSBC have brokerage services. Deutsche Bank has brokerage services. So there's different options available there. There's also a lot of popular online brokers, which are pretty reliable, that do offer sustainable investing options and often are very known to have a very wide variety of different ETF investing options. So when it comes to sustainable investing, these online platforms are really popular as they tend to offer all these different options that are available on the market. To give you a couple of examples, there's Scalable Capital, Interactive Brokers, as well as Smart Brokers, which have very low fee tiers and are very popular in the sustainable investing community as they offer a large variety of different ETFs. For example, for the sustainable ETFs that we've talked about in this video so far, Scalable Capital has access to all of these, whereas some of these larger national bank brokers, for example, they do not necessarily have these different ETF options that we have been discussing today. So the step here would be to decide which broker you want to take and then open an account. So just to reiterate, for these sustainable investing options, these online brokers that we've discussed, like Scalable Capital, Interactive Brokers, will be quite popular because they do have these products available and offer them at a very low fee. That fee is usually like 1 or 2 euros or dollars per transaction. All right, now we're going to go through some basic investing tips to get you started when it comes to your sustainable investing journey. So first of all, you should always let your money work for you. This is a really key point because many people have money saved on their bank account and they never let it work for them. And if there's one thing, savers are losers. At the end of the day, if you have your money and you let it work for you, it's going to accumulate, it's going to make money for you over time. And there's a lot of very safe options to invest and basically let it grow in value for you over time. So then step number 2 is what we've already discussed, is kind of decide what you want to morally support. What do you want to support? What do you personally know a lot about? and see a significant potential in the future for. Also, what is like your goals in terms of your financial returns is something that you should keep in mind. You should also define your risk profile. Consider how much money you want to invest, because there's always a risk in anything you do, but these ETF options are considered to be one of the safest options, as they include so many different companies that are performing really, really well and are really big, that it's very unlikely that they will go bankrupt and that all these ETFs will go to zero, because that could only happen if there was, some major apocalyptic scenario going on in the world, which is extremely unlikely. In terms of the risk profile, it's also really important to consider how much we are willing to invest. If we have struggled to fall asleep at night because we put so much money into investing, then we should probably, think to reduce our position somewhat, because it's not going to be sustainable for us. It's not going to make you happy. And if there is an unexpected turn of events, you're going to be really depressed, and really consider your risk profile personally before you make any investment decisions, and consult your financial advisor. It's also really important to take a long-term approach. With these ETFs, we're not trying to make money overnight. These things move over a long time horizon. It's not about buying tomorrow low and selling high the day after, It's about taking that investment, doing it in a recurring way, and doing it over a long time horizon. Because that's where you're really going to reap the rewards, as this is a passive investing strategy that we're discussing. So this is not something that happens over a short period of time. Okay, another really key tip is practicing regular investing. This is also known as dollar cost averaging, right? We're investing every single month over a long time horizon, and this will allow us to accumulate our portfolio over time. And the reason why this is so effective is if we try to time the market, we will never be able to do it, because the market times us. We're not timing the market. The stock market goes up, down, left, right, sideways. It's really hard to predict it, and it's nearly impossible. And more often than not, the market will probably time us, and we're going to lose money. So if we, try to find the perfect moment to invest, it's likely not going to work for us. Whereas if we just invest consistently over a long time horizon, it's going to accumulate over time, because the market will go up over time. These biggest companies in the world have been growing and are growing for, decades, and will likely continue to do so over a long period of time or forever. And so if we just take advantage of that and just put small amounts that we've saved every single month and put that into these safe investing options, it will, continue to grow and make us a lot of money in the long run. So this is something that I personally do, and I think I heard a lot of really wealthy people do it and advise it, that it's a good thing to do. Obviously, do your own research, but this has been a really successful strategy thus far. It's also really important to maintain emotional discipline. The market won't always go up. There's times when the market will crash. For example, the last crash that we've experienced was in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic. It was an unforeseen circumstance. The stock market crashed, and a lot of people saw the cliff, and what did they do? They jumped. They saw the cliff and they jumped, and that is the most stupid thing that you can possibly do, because the market in the long run will go up again. And with these ETFs, you're not trying to time the market. You're just trying to buy and leave it for 5, 10, 20 years, and it's going to grow significantly in value. And these drops are short term, and the market will recover very quickly. So it's even considered by some to be a good opportunity to even buy more, so that we can even, take the lower price and with the upturn, cash in the profits. Have a very long-term approach and maintain your emotional discipline. If you see the cliff, do not jump. The last bonus tip really is to just start, in context of the fact that it doesn't matter when you start, because this is a long-term approach. It's important to just get started. Think about these things, build your portfolio, and just start. Don't wait for the right moment. Let your money work for you. Find something that you're comfortable with investing, even if it's a tiny amount, to just try it out. Don't put yourself under pressure. You can start small and then kind of see how you go, and see if you want to, educate yourself further financially, and then potentially grow significant wealth in the long term if you decide to go down that way. All right, thank you so much for listening today. We've discussed many things. We've discussed what sustainable investing is. It's the future. The world is heading this way, and there's a lot happening in this space. And while there's political changes of dynamics, the gears are in motion. The gears and the levers, the apparatus is going towards net zero, towards a sustainable future. There's nothing that can stop it, and there's ways for us to profit and to align our money with our moral values to invest in a way that we personally agree with. There's ways to mitigate your exposure to greenwashing. Always see how these funds are transparent. How are they reporting their sustainability? How are they reporting their holdings? What are the holdings? These are important things to look out for if you want to invest, and be sure that you invest towards things that you personally agree with. And then it's we've put out a fund with 4 different ETFs that we have listed here. These have offered a strong financial return over the past. If we look, obviously the past doesn't predict the future, but it could indicate where the future is heading. Then we've also looked at the different platforms that one can use. We've noticed that online brokers are really good for these sustainable ETFs because they have a wide variety of options that we can choose from to invest into these sustainable funds that exist there. So these are really good, and they offer these funds at a very low fee tier, which we can make use of. And therefore, in context of the investing tips that we've discussed, just get started. Dollar cost average, which is good for these low cost brokerage platforms, because we basically invest every single month, and because the fee is so low, we're not paying a lot of money to invest consistently over a long period of time into these different ETFs. Start small and just see how it is. Trust me, I think it's really fun. Maintain emotional discipline. Do not jump when you see the cliff. Best investment that you can always do is in yourself, in your education, to learn more and to educate yourself further in this topic of investing as well as sustainable investing. And there's different ways to do that, not just me. Check out what other people are saying, and you're going to profit a lot from it in the long run.